So do these online reviews matter? I think this is going to be pretty obvious, but I wanted to share some stats. 84% of people trust an online review as much as they do a personal recommendation. So that's pretty huge. And especially in kind of the days of COVID now, where we're not interacting a lot with people, people have kind of started to look at those reviews as a replacement, if you will, for personal recommendations. 77% of consumers think that reviews more than 3 months old aren't relevant. This is pretty wild too. If you're only getting a couple reviews every once in a while, consumers are discounting those older reviews. You know, that's not great, obviously. But having those reviews older than a couple months and having very fresh reviews can really help your business as well. So obviously, yes, they are mission critical. A few reasons why they impact your Google rankings. So this is very important in what we call the 3-pack of results, or the map pack area. When you're typing in, no matter what you're typing in, if you type in plumber, right, and then a location, you get those 3 results with the pins and the map. From a mobile standpoint, mobile users are tending to make their decision from that 3-pack. So if you're not in that 3-pack of results, you may never even be part of their internal conversation that they're having. 88% of consumers look at those reviews. Obviously, it's a major conversion factor, especially if you're not showing up in those 3, in that 3-pack, you're not going to be part of that conversation at all. So why is controlling and managing your online reviews critical to you and your business? Again, probably pretty obvious, right? But I've kind of broken it down into 5 key principles that you can use for your business. First of all, the one that I hope you're already doing, and that's providing a world-class customer experience. Obviously, that is not something related to the online world, but at the end of the day, this is what drives your reviews, right? This is what reflects back to the opportunity to ask them for those better reviews. Build online reviews and reputation management into your company culture. So I'll talk a little bit more about this, but there are definitely some things that you can do around having your team be review minded, right? At the time of install, after the install, things like that. But starting to build this into the culture where, you know, the more reviews we get, the higher we're going to rank. Therefore, everybody's going to stay employed, right? At the end of the day, show off the reviews that you do have. So make sure that when you do get some of those positive reviews, you have some sort of mechanism in place to show those off. Put those into, you know, a Facebook post. Our customers love us. Here's another 5-star review. Those kind of things are great and super easy to do from a social media standpoint. Number 4, leverage those tools to request reviews after every install to ensure that you're communicating on multiple channels. So not just asking somebody for a review after they get you get back to the office, or a day or 2 later, you plug them in and then it shoots out an email request for a review. There are tools out there now that you can do other things, such as SMS, which is texting. You know, obviously physical at the time of the install, ask them for a review right there in front of them. And then an app like Lead Boomerang, which I know some of you guys are using as well, which has a fantastic tool where you can just check in a client right there and request that review immediately. And then number 5, acknowledge and respond to every review. Very important that as you get those reviews in, that you're not just being happy about it, but that you're acknowledging that, or that you're responding to it if it's a negative review. So which of these can you possibly work on? I think the obvious answer is number 1, provide a world-class customer experience. That you can always be working on, and any business owner is always going to be working on that. But any of these other that kind of stick out to you that you think you could probably improve in that particular area?
I mean, I think the physical part of getting the reviews, I think that's that's gonna, when you're in front of the person, it's like, if you send them like an email or an SMS, they're like, okay, fine, maybe I'll do it later. But when you're in front of the person, I think it's more like they have a better chance of writing a review, especially when it's right away and they're very happy right away. Get the that that
Yeah.
sort of like energy of like, wow, I just, brand new. So I feel like in person, I feel like that's definitely the best way to go. But I think these other ones definitely work as well.
Yeah, certainly. You're right. At the time of install is the best opportunity that you have, right? Because, like you said, they're happy, they're excited, and getting them to do something, even if it's just pull up their phone and hit the 5 stars, pretty easy to do. And if they put you off, that's fine. But the longer that time goes out, the less likely you are to get those reviews. So one thing that you can do, obviously, the number of reviews that you have is easy way to increase this. And no matter what your number is, in this case, these guys have 11. But making sure, obviously, that they're 5-star reviews, but make sure that you have some sort of strategy in place to consistently get those reviews. And this is where it gets a little tough for some business owners because you're running a business, right? You're doing 100 other things, and you're not always able to remember to ask for those reviews. But if you can start to put some sort of a process in place that lets you start to consistently ask for those, it will definitely help you out. You can leave a printed review card, and I've got an example of that here in a minute. The best way to do this, like Daniel said, is at the time of install. If the business owner, you are not part of the install process, then training your installers to make sure they're planting those seeds and obviously do a great job while they're there. Make a call after the service to kind of walk somebody through that process is another way to do it. And then obviously build those into your customer culture or your company culture is a great way to do it. And then leveraging tools like email, SMS, lead boomerang to really get the most impact out of your business. Here's an
Well,
example of a review card. Go ahead, Rebecca.
um, you mentioned at install, but I've also heard from some folks that like not you don't necessarily have to wait till it's installed to ask for a review. So like after the sales process, or what are
Absolutely.
your thoughts on that?
We have a client in Denver who asks for a review after the initial sales call, whether they get the proposal, whether they get the job or not.
Mm-hmm.
And that seems to be working pretty well. Again, as long as they're delivering a really good sales call process, it's definitely worth asking. I think the
Okay.
numbers will probably be less, right? Because, well, we didn't hire them. Why would I leave them a review? But they
Right.
they are seeing some reviews from those people.
Okay.
We haven't got to the point where they're asking twice. So what would be interesting is, do they ask after that original in-home sales call or virtual sales call, and then ask again after
Again.
install? You know,
Yeah.
uh, haven't had that experience, but I think personally it's probably a good way to go. You know,
Okay.
I think if here's the thing: if you're asking for them after the original sales call, and you're starting to see some 3 and 4 star reviews, probably a good time to stop asking them
Stop.
at that point,
Right.
right? But you don't
Right.
know till you try. That's the great thing about a lot of this is you can test different things and see what works best.
Cool.
So this is a review us card. We have a couple clients that do this too. QR codes have made a sudden comeback with these virtual menus and all these different things. We also have a client that just has a regular business card size thing. It has the QR code on it, and it also has the link to their website with a review us thing. But that's a cool way to kind of get people to, especially if you have installers, right? And you're not the one out there in the field, but then part of the install process when you're done is get their signature, hand them this review card, things of that sort as well. Kind of a cool little way to go. Super cheap to get these things printed. Obviously use some different review automations. There are a lot of different services out there that do this. And then of course there's the Lead Boomerang app. Another thing that some of our clients have really good luck with is just at the time of install, or, you know, as Rebecca said, at the time of doing the sales call, uh, everybody's got their phone with them, right? Your phone's probably right next to you right now. People love talking about their phones, you know, so something as simple as, hey, is that an Android or an iPhone, right? They're immediately going to be like, oh, I'm an iPhone person, blah, blah, you know, blah, blah, blah. But just starting that conversation is so easy, you know, and then, oh, hey, if I shoot you a text real quick, would you mind leaving us a review? You know, that conversation might be as simple as that. But starting it out by just asking what kind of phone they have, or something along those lines, always seems to engage them very quickly and easily. And like I said, everybody's got their phone with them, so pretty easy way to start it. Also, consider having a reviews page on your site. Once you start to get your reviews in motion, have a place on your site that's dynamically created where it just dumps in new reviews as they're left on the different platforms. And there are automation services out there, including like Lead Boomerang that we use, that has this service as part of it. It's a dynamic piece of script you put on your site, and it's always pulling in your latest reviews. This is a great piece of social proof, I think is what they call this. So even though this page on a website has no call to action, no next step, anything like that, it's still a highly trafficked page on this particular client's website. Just because people want to check it out and make sure that they're legit, make sure they're a real company, things like that. So having that reviews page on your site, and you can see we put a little star in the menu next to it to kind of call attention to it as well.